In our last video, we shared footage of the challenges our current police and fire facilities pose to our public safety professionals. Recently, we sat down with Auburn Police Chief Jason Moen and Auburn Fire Chief Robert Chase to hear their perspectives on the difficulties facing their teams and how the proposed public safety building could alleviate those difficulties. Auburn Police Chief Jason Moen and Auburn Fire Chief Robert Chase, welcome. To complement the video tour, we'd like to hear your thoughts on the significant challenges facing the Auburn Fire and Police Departments in their current facilities. Chief Chase, the health risks to your team has to be at the top of your list of challenges. Tell us how important decontamination spaces and safe living quarters are for the fire service.
Sure. Cancer and cardiovascular disease are the two top killers of firefighters. Through decades of studies, we've learned that fire station design is integral in reducing and preventing both cancer and cardiovascular disease in firefighters. That includes designs which separate carcinogens that we carry from fires back to the firehouse, both on our gear and our equipment, and also on our bodies. And so our ability to enter what we call a dirty space at the firehouse immediately following the fire, clean all of our gear, clean ourselves up, before we enter the clean space, our living quarters where we're going to eat and sleep, is a huge risk reduction process that can help us to mitigate those risks of cancer and cardiovascular disease in firefighters. So it's very important that we start to integrate these proven and tested processes into our firefighter wellness.
Sure, absolutely. Chief Moen, what began as a temporary move from 1 Minot Avenue to 60 Court Street has turned into nearly 14 years here at Auburn Hall. Tell us why you feel this building isn't the best fit for a law enforcement agency and its staff.
Well, a law enforcement agency has specific building requirements in order to have successful operations. Auburn Hall was not designed to have police operations in that. For example, if we need to bring somebody that's in custody into the station for interviews or whatnot, we have to bring them through a public unsecured space to get into the facility to be able to conduct those interviews. And having our staffing split between 3 floors is difficult at best, because we have a small limited space in the basement of Auburn Hall where our patrol and records people work out of. And then we have criminal investigation, support services, and administration on the 3rd floor. So you have that gap in between, which can make it difficult for daily operations. So with that, we have an external area for property and evidence custody where it makes that challenging at best. So we have some operational deficiencies going on because we don't have a prisoner processing area, which requires us to rely on other agencies for OUI processing and whatnot. So it can degrade our investigations.
Sure. Storage is also a huge challenge for both of your agencies. Chief Moen, can you tell us how limited storage impacts your team, especially, like you mentioned, for the APD's evidence and property function?
Sure. We took an empty room in the area to create a property and evidence room. Currently we have nearly 12,000 pieces of property and evidence in our custody. And that makes that very challenging for the area that we're in, one, to be able to house all of that. And that area is susceptible to flooding when we have severe rainstorms. We've had 3 instances in the last 14 years where that area has actually flooded. And we've had some damage that we've had to mitigate. We've had some mold that we've had to mitigate out of that area. So it also becomes a staff health issue too when they're in that area and having to contend with mold.
Mm-hmm. Chief Chase, tell us about your storage situation.
Sure. Since our current stations have been built, the fire service has changed considerably. The size of fire apparatus has doubled and tripled. And the equipment that we need to have, has also grown. Since the stations were built, Auburn has taken on an EMS transport function. We now have to house ambulances and significant amounts of medical supplies. In order to accommodate all of our gear needs at Central Fire Station now, we actually have 2 roll-off exterior type Connex boxes that we have to keep additional training gear in, but also medical supplies outside in those Connex boxes. So as Auburn's grown, our demands for services have grown, the things that we need to provide for the city have grown, and we need space in order to accommodate the personnel and equipment that it takes to provide those services.
Yeah, absolutely. And the face of public safety is also changing. A more diverse pool of candidates are pursuing rewarding careers in law enforcement and firefighting. And Auburn hopes to attract and retain those types of people on our team. So Chief Moen, can you tell us about how your current space presents challenges when it comes to gender diversity as well as recruitment and retention?
Certainly, because in that basement area of Auburn Hall, also housed in those areas is housing our locker room areas and our gym area as well. The locker rooms are very small, very constricted, and it makes it difficult at times to move around in there when people are getting ready to come on and come off of shifts. And that presents a challenge when we go to recruit candidates to the agency, because everything is about first impression. And when a candidate walks in and sees this confined space that we're working out of, that may deter them from wanting to come to work here because of these type of working conditions. And when you have 55 officers that use a gym area, and then they have to leave our secured space, go out into a public space to get to the bathroom, where there's one shower stall and one toilet in each of the bathrooms, both male and female, for 55 people to use. It becomes quite unsanitary at times.
Sure.
And that presents some image issues for us, because we want to promote physical wellness with our staff, but we don't have the infrastructure to support it.
Yeah. And Chief Chase, how about at Central Fire? How do you find those challenges when it comes to gender diversity?
Certainly, we're proud that we've tried to increase the level of diversity in our department. The station at the time it was built was not built with that in mind, per se. So, for example, the staff bathroom at Central Fire is what I would call an old-style locker room gang-style bathroom. Right, several stalls with urinals, and a couple of stalls, and then 2 shower stalls that don't provide for a changing space external to that shower. It was designed with the expectation that there would be several people in there doing various bathroom and toiletry functions, including showering, which cannot happen in today's modern and diverse workforce. And so we certainly need to take all the needs of all of our staff in mind as we design and move toward a more diverse workforce in the facilities that accommodate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And training is something that's critically important for our first responders. Chief Chase, can you tell us about some of the training limitations affecting your team at Central Fire?
Yeah, certainly. We currently, our training space, we actually refer to as a multi-purpose room. It is split in half. Again, I referred to cardiovascular disease being a big killer of firefighters, so physical fitness is very important to firefighters. Our multi-purpose space has to double as our fitness and workout facility. That leaves us a little less than half of the room for training, and it's not a real viable training space that only accommodates about 16 of our staff of 64.
Sure.
So on any given day, we can just get the staff that's on duty in place, but that means when we're doing a training and we want to roll it out to all the staff, we have to do that training 4 days in a row. It doesn't allow for a lot of teamwork building. It doesn't allow for a lot of those multi-company operations and trainings that we'd like to do, because the training space simply does not accommodate the number of staff that we would need to train.
Yeah, absolutely. So having a public safety facility that is safe, meets the needs of our dedicated staff, and helps attract quality candidates and it's something that the community can be proud of. That's important. Chief Moen, do you have any final thoughts on the potential for a new public safety facility in Auburn?
I think one thing that people need to understand and realize and keep in mind is that Auburn is changing. Auburn has seen unprecedented growth when it comes to the areas of residential development and commercial development. The face of Auburn looks very different than it did 30 years ago. And if we are going to be able to sustain that growth as a city, we need to invest in the public infrastructure to sustain that growth.
Absolutely.
And that requires solid facilities for staff to work out of. As our workforce becomes more diverse, also our investigations are becoming more diverse. And we need additional space to house specialized equipment to be able to accomplish those investigations.
Sure, absolutely. And Chief Chase, do you have any final thoughts? What would a new public safety facility bring to the city for fire?
Sure. I think one of the things that I'd like to express is that there are also some real operational gains with regard to how we provide fire protection within the city. Our current central station cannot accommodate our Quint tower truck, which is a unique piece of equipment that really serves the city very well. But the only station that can accommodate that at this point is out on Center Street. That is not the ideal location for that piece of equipment. So having a new station in the central district, where on Minot Avenue, where Central Station is currently located, puts a very expensive but very unique and dynamic piece of equipment for fire protection into the right district in this city, where it'll serve the citizens the best. So again, the fire service is changing in a very, very fast way. The city of Auburn is changing in a very fast way. And our facilities now are dated and are having difficulty keeping up with that. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to move the equipment to where it best suits the citizens, but also that's built best for our projections for what Auburn looks like 30 to 50 years from now.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much for your time and your insight and your service to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. The city will be hosting informational meetings in each of Auburn's 5 wards to connect with residents and answer questions. To find the location and date for your ward, as well as more information regarding the Public Safety Building Project, visit auburnpublicsafety.com.